What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Hope your Wednesday is going well. We are just one day away from real NFL football action. Seahawks don't play until Sunday, but we do get a little taste tomorrow and Friday. Pretty exciting. And this video, we're going to be doing something that I don't do a lot of. Most of the videos that I make pertain to football as it is with players and coaches, right? I don't really get too much into this kind of stuff, but this has been a hot topic with Seahawks fans over the last day or so, and I feel like it makes sense for me to address it for at least one video because this may not have anything to do with the players or the coaches, but it is definitely something that can affect a game, and it is definitely something that can affect this weekend's game. So let's talk about it. Let's start with the initial report that got a lot of people talking about this. Vivid Seats, one of these vendors that helps distribute out tickets to football fans. I don't know if they do non-sports stuff, but I do know that they do a lot of football stuff. And they have this tool called a fan forecast tool where they estimate what percentage of a crowd at a sports game is going to be of a particular fan base. So I'm guessing they're utilizing things like location of the person who acquired the tickets. I'm guessing there's some kind of algorithm that they use that revolves around guessing based on where people are coming from to estimate what the fan base makeup is going to be at a particular game. And they do this for, as far as I know, every game. And one of the big attention-grabbing things that they forecasted this week was that 49ers fans would actually outnumber Seahawks fans in the crowd. I think they found something similar for Steelers fans in their Week 1 game in New York, I believe it is, against the Jets. So we're not the only ones that are in this area, but we are certainly one of the teams in this area, according to Vivid Seats' fan forecast tool. Niners fans expected to make up 53% of the crowd, per Nick Wagoner, who I believe is one of the Niners beat reporters. But again, he's just passing it along. It's the fan forecast tool from Vivid Seats that is projecting this. The average price of a ticket is reportedly about $400 as well, for whatever that factors in, which it certainly does. And this has certainly gotten a lot of people's attention, and I don't think I have to sit here and explain why it might be. So the issue here is pretty obvious, right? This is a home opener. This is the first game of the year. This is Week 1. It's not a new era of Seahawks football necessarily, but we do have a new quarterback. We have new wide receivers. A lot of the stuff is new, and the team is, I think, pretty clearly going in the right direction. Maybe it's not moving as fast as we would like, but this is a team that has had a winning record 3 years in a row. Last year, they won 10 games and got very unlucky to miss the playoffs. This is a team that is seemingly, for the moment, headed in the right direction. And I say that as someone who didn't like our offseason that much. The team in the big picture, in the grand scheme, is still headed in the right direction. And yet, despite all that, they cannot get Seahawks fans in the stadium. Supposedly, anyway. Before I go any further into this, I want to tell you a little bit about my friends over at Sleeper. Have you heard about the Sleeper app? It is the best way to experience and connect over sports together with other users. It's a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. Go download the app now. You can celebrate and chat on games in real time with others. You can get the fastest scores, news, and alerts, all that right at your fingertips. And of course, you can play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So you can enjoy sports the way they were meant to be, together. Download the #1 sports app today. And when you go, use promo code SBN, that is SBN, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. So check out Sleeper today. Don't forget promo code SBN. Now, let me quickly offer up the counter to all this. Nemhauser already posted about this yesterday, I think it was afternoon, where he kind of contested the claim made by Vivid Seats. You can read his blow-by-blow rundown of why he doesn't necessarily believe this report. Vivid Seats does not have data beyond their inventory, so any seats that are not sold through Vivid Seats, they don't know about. So therefore, they're just estimating based off their data set. So it could the number could be very different, and Vivid Seats still didn't do anything wrong, right? Because they reported what they had. Nemhauser also says, I have information to the contrary. So he's basically saying, I have inside information that says this is not true. Presumably he means the Seahawks are going to have a bigger fan presence in the stadium than indicated. And he also lists a couple of other points of more questionable impact. But the point he is trying to make here is that he doesn't think it's going to be 53% 49ers fans. And I could certainly see that. I could certainly see the number being much lower, but it's probably still going to be pretty big, right? Maybe it won't be 53%, but it could be 40%, right? The Niners are a fan base that travels well. I know the Niners were not very good last year, but generally speaking, they've been very good over the last several years. This is a team that has done a good job motivating their fans to show up to games home and away. And we know that the Seahawks have had a little bit of a problem lately with this stuff. We know that they've had issues getting Seahawks fans to actually go to these home games. Last year, the Green Bay game, we had a 4-game winning streak going into that Green Bay game, and Green Bay took over the stadium. We played the Niners in Seattle last year, week 6 game. And I know we had lost 2 games in a row going into that game, but that was definitely a game that was very important, and Niners fans kind of took over the stadium. So it wouldn't be shocking if we get to kick off on Sunday and Niners fans have kind of maybe not taken over the stadium, but they will have taken up a significant portion of it, to the point where it's affecting the game versus the kind of game you might expect. You might expect the game to be. So this is definitely something that feeds into the narrative that this fan base just hasn't been. They haven't been very motivated to go to these games. And if this ends up coming to pass, if it's even close, like I said, if it's not 53%, but it's 40% Niners fans, or even 35%, like it's going to be a decent number no matter what, and that's not a reflection of the Seahawks fans. The Niners travel well. If it's like 30% Niners fans, I don't think that says that much. It's a very rabid and very motivated to travel fan base. They're not that far away from Seattle. If you're a Niners fan, traveling to Seattle is not that big of a deal. If you're coming from San Francisco, there's going to be some percentage for sure. But if it is 53, that's going to feed into the narrative that's really, really picked up steam in the last couple of years, but it's been building for a while. This team has not had the home field advantage that we're used to for quite some time. Now, there are a couple different ways to look at this. I think that for the most part, you're coming at it from an angle of disappointment. What does this team need to do other than just quite simply become a juggernaut team that always wins? Like, if they do that, I'm sure people would show up, but a fan base should be able to show up without that qualifier, right? Like, I'm sure that this team, if they won 14 games every year, if they went on some kind of streak where they would win 13, 14 games a year over and over and over again, and they're playing for the NFC title game every year, and they're making Super Bowls, kind of like the Niners in recent years, of course, they would have no problem filling that stadium up with Seahawks fans every home game. But short of that, which is not a reasonable expectation for any NFL team, you can have eras like that, you can have runs like that, of course, but you're not going to do it every year. And we certainly have, there are teams out there that have had it better than the Seahawks over the last decade, but there are plenty of teams that have had it worse. And right now, I'm looking at this Seattle team, and here's the bottom line to me. In previous years, when this would happen, when Seahawks fans didn't really show up for these home games, people would say, oh, it's because Seahawks fans are tired of Russell Wilson. They want him to go. They're sick of Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is gone. Russell Wilson has been gone for years. Some people would say, oh, it's because of Pete Carroll. They're sick of Pete Carroll. They don't like Pete Carroll. They just want something new. Well, Pete Carroll's been gone for a couple years now. And there would also be some Seahawks fans that would say it's because of Geno Smith. Seahawks fans don't like Geno Smith. They don't want to watch him anymore. Well, he's not here anymore either. All these major parts of this team, all of these polarizing, contested elements to this organization, except for John Schneider and Jody Allen, have been moved. Like, everything that made up the main parts of the Seahawks over the last several years, other than, you know, some of the pieces from the most recent season, has been swapped out. We have a new coach. We have new coaching assistants. Like, the only coach who was here a couple years ago that is still here now is Carl Scott. We've swapped out quarterbacks twice. Again, the only thing that hasn't been swapped out is the general manager and the owner. And I don't think general managers and owners are the thing that are putting people in seats. It should be the product on the field. And I know the product on the field hasn't been amazing, but it hasn't been bad. It hasn't even really been average. It's been consistently above average, objectively speaking. So it doesn't seem like anything's good enough. So that's the big part of this, right? There's just some disappointment that this fan base seems uninterested in showing up for anything less than a Super Bowl team. And that's not a healthy relationship with a sports team, right? Because you're not always going to have a Super Bowl team. That's not how things work. But there is that other angle of it, and this line kind of speaks to it. It's just kind of gotten out of hand to go to these games. It has. And that's a big part of this too. The average price of a ticket is about $400. This is a week one game. I remember I went to the NFC title game against Green Bay over a decade ago. And the tickets for that game that I got were $500 each. And that's the NFC championship game against the Packers. This is a week one game. It's an important week one game. And I understand that week one boosts the price a little bit. But you're almost paying the same price for a week one game as I did 10 years ago for an NFC championship game. You can see why the fans might be a little reticent to go to these games until they know what they're getting. You can understand why it might be a little bit hard to motivate these guys to get to the stadium when, for all they know, they're going to walk into something like they did last year when they played the Giants, last year when they played the Niners at home, last year when they played the Bills. And while there's not anything a team can do to guarantee that's not going to happen, it's understandable. Unless you are somebody with a lot of disposable income, it is understandable that you don't want to put $400 per person, and if you include food and drink and parking, it's over $500. You don't want to put that kind of money down when you can just sit at home and watch the game on pretty much everybody has a big screen now. Everybody can watch it on HD now. You can follow along on other games much easier. You can see replays. You can see much better coverage of the game. It's understandable why people are like this. And I'm looking at what a team like the Atlanta Falcons did. And what the Falcons did a couple years ago is they decided to make all the food in Mercedes-Benz Stadium extremely cheap. Like, this is like Costco type food prices. And basically they decided we're going to eat a loss or at least significantly less profit on food and drink. And that'll motivate people to come to the stadium, and they know they're not going to get completely destroyed in terms of money. They're going to get destroyed somewhat because the tickets are still expensive, but at least they got that. And I wonder if the Seahawks and all these other teams as well, because we're not the only team with this problem, if they need to do something to make it a little more cost effective to go to these games, a little bit more reasonable. Because going to a football game and watching your team lose, that's very unpleasant. It's not like baseball. I can go to a baseball game, and if the team loses, it's not that big of a deal. I can have a good time in the stadium just chilling out and eating food and watching the game, even if it goes badly. Football, I don't want to go to a football game and watch my team lose. I don't. So there's that angle of it too. And it's hard to come up with the right answer here, but I'm very interested to see what the fan makeup is at the stadium this Sunday. So let me know what you guys think. See you guys later. Go Hawks. More stuff soon.